Next, Gingrich going after Romney as the Iowa caucuses approach, violent clashes in Pakistan over a new traffic plan, and getting ahead of Chinese New Year, our picture of the day. Here's your morning briefing this Tuesday. Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich has his sights set on Mitt Romney ahead of tonight's Iowa caucuses. In an interview with Reuters' Jeff Mason, Gingrich unleashed a barrage of criticism over his treatment by the former Massachusetts governor. He also detailed why he thinks Romney doesn't have what it takes to win the Republican nomination.
Well, I think it's very hard to be a Massachusetts moderate pretending to be a conservative because people aren't that stupid. It's very hard to run $3.5 million of negative ads and pretend it's not yours and not have people think you're being dishonest.
Most polls put Romney in the lead in Iowa, with Gingrich in fourth place. Our number of the day, and it's a big one, $42 billion. That's BP's previous estimate of the 2010 Gulf oil spill cleanup costs. BP now suing Halliburton a second time to have the contractor pay that tab. Halliburton cemented the failed well that caused the biggest offshore oil spill in U.S. history. BP filed its first lawsuit against Halliburton in April of last year. BP and Halliburton are stocks to watch today, as is Chesapeake Energy. France's Total has agreed to pay more than $2 billion to Chesapeake toward the development of shale gas reserves in Ohio. And Starbucks, which is raising prices about 1% in the Northeast and Sunbelt regions. This includes New York, Boston, Washington, Dallas, and Atlanta. You can expect to pay a little bit more for your coffee. Greek drama unfolding in Athens. Let's turn to Axel Threffel. He is in London. So the Greek government talking about potentially dropping the euro, but we've heard stuff like this before, Axel. What's the big deal this time?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Jen. But this was an unusually public and unusually stark warning, which came directly from a government spokesman. Greece will have to leave the Eurozone if it fails to clinch a deal on the second 130 billion euro bailout. Now, why did this come now, this warning? Well, that is open to debate, but most say the warning shot was aimed at shoring up domestic support for the tough measures needed, and possibly, and this is important, also at the lenders themselves, i.e. the EU, the IMF, and private bondholders. Remember, if there isn't a deal by the redemption in March, Greece risks default. So unusual in its openness, Jen, but we have reached a crunch time, and officials have been warning over the past few days that a return to the drachma would be, quote, hell. So, yeah, certainly another Greek drama unfolding.
Hell, definitely. We'll put that with drama. All right, UK manufacturing. People were talking about a recession. UK manufacturing coming out. Is the R word still being thrown around?
Yeah, it is, Jen. This was a slightly better number we got this morning. We went from contraction to stagnation. It doesn't sound great, but it's a little bit better. Manufacturing production up more than expected. But when you look at how it happened, most economists still think a recession, the R word, is very much on the cards. Why? Because the rise seems to be down to firms eating into backlogs of work to keep output up. That, of course, is only a temporary fix. And what we really need to see is an improvement in overall order books if we're going to avoid a protracted period of weakness. So a short recession is expected by most over here.
And the reaction in stocks here in the U.S., we are gapping up this morning. How are you guys doing over there?
Yeah, not a bad start to the year in the UK. In fact, we're up to 2-month highs for the overall European markets. Two of the big European markets are suffering, though, Spain and France. Spain, because of a comment from the economy minister there that the public deficit may come in a lot higher than expected. And France, with the banks still under pressure there. Remember all the rating agency rumours surrounding France's credit rating before the holidays, Jen.
Happy New Year, Axel. Nice to see you.
You too.
Well, if you think driving a yellow cab through Times Square at rush hour is tough, take a look at this. Clashes between police and rickshaw drivers in Pakistan turning violent this week. The Rickshaw Drivers Union is protesting a new traffic plan that would introduce 2 shifts for drivers in an attempt to streamline traffic. Drivers say they need to work both shifts to make ends meet, and that the strike will continue until the government scraps its plan. It's more than just tempers flaring in Australia. Hot weather and dry winds causing spot fires in the south. The mercury cracked 40 degrees Celsius. That's 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Emergency crews are busy keeping fires at bay, while koalas in the Adelaide Zoo are misted to keep cool, and lemurs get tasty fruit blocks. Hopefully they're taking care of the firefighters there as well. He is a little late to the game, but beleaguered media mogul Rupert Murdoch already has 86,000 followers following his 2-day-old Twitter account. It is, however, a far cry from former GE titan Jack Welch, who has 1.3 million followers, or former employee of News of the World editor and current CNN host Piers Morgan. He clocks in at 1.65 million. And Murdoch is nowhere near the leader of all tweeting, Lady Gaga, with 17 million followers. He also doesn't dress like that. And finally, our picture of the day. You have to hand it to this guy. He is spray painting lantern parts in the shape of human hands and heads. The lanterns will be used in a festival as part of Chinese New Year celebrations in China. The event is close at hand. Chinese New Year takes place later this month. Time for me to head out and figure out how they actually make that into a lantern. That's your morning briefing this Tuesday. I'm Jen Rogers, and this is Reuters.